I'm Alex Seay with Bird Law Group. Welcome back to Bird's Eye View. This is my first episode post-baby, so feeling a little rusty. Woohoo. But very excited to have with us today Lindsey Macon, who is also coming back to the field of law post-baby.
Yeah, I know. I'm a good person to choose for your first rusty podcast back.
Figured you would understand, and we would have
nobody better to.
Plenty to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, my first day back at work, I was late because I was ready, and I picked William up, my newest, and he vomited down my back and my hair. It was spit up. I call it vomit. He wasn't sick. It's just what babies do sometimes. And yeah, down my back, down my leg. I just had to rewind.
Yeah, that is my first baby. She was born in March. We had a trial like June 12th or something like that. She was born March 30th. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. I was new back at work. And the trial was in Macon, where I'm from. My mom lives there. I was trying the case with my mom. And so we were staying at home, and I had the baby there with me and my husband, because I was like, this is too soon to leave for a 2-week trial. And first morning of the trial, the baby, I handed her off to my mom, and she vomited all down my mom's suit on the morning of jury selection. So feel you. My kids have not done that to me, but I think that's like a rite of passage.
I think it must be. So did it end up being a good omen for the trial?
It was a good omen, yes. Okay. It was fun, good med-mal trial, good result. And so maybe now I need a little bit more vomit on my suit.
And you're like, hey, I'm going to a hearing. Could you shake the baby up real quick after he eats so he can give me something?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, first, I know I jumped right in because that's me and my scatterbrained postpartum self. But introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do. I know you mentioned working with your mom, but like your firm and what kind of law you guys practice.
Yeah. So I'm Lindsey Macon. I practice at the MacArthur Law Firm. We have offices in Macon and Atlanta. I opened our Atlanta office in 2019. So we've been in Macon for a long time. Our Atlanta office is relatively new, and I lead our office up here. And we do medical malpractice, catastrophic personal injury of all kinds. So I think I spend about 50% of my time doing medical malpractice work. The other 50% is sort of miscellaneous personal injury with interesting issues and big injuries. So yeah.
We can't do all doctor stuff.
I know. Can't do all doctor stuff. It keeps you fresh to, get a different perspective when you go into cases. And honestly, it keeps you bold. You get into other cases where where there's not always a defense, because there's always a defense to medical malpractice.
Oh, it's the client's fault. And even if they're dead, it's their fault.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's me.
Okay. So what I like to do, or what I did like to do, and we're going to see if it still works, start the podcast with some quick questions. So no overthinking, just the first thing that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Coffee, tea, or soda to power through the day?
I have always been a coffee person. And I have been drinking a lot of coffee. Honestly, post-baby, coffee's been giving me a ton of anxiety, so I've moved to more of an iced tea. But I drink a lot of decaf coffee now to keep myself rolling, so.
That's funny that you say that. I had this, they hit you with all the supplements, right? On Instagram, postpartum, they're like, we know you're desperate. And I got this like microbiome regulating powder. It has caffeine in it. I drank one the other day. It made my blood pressure and my anxiety go through the roof postpartum.
There's something about lawyering and coffee that go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if your office doesn't smell like coffee, if you're not breathing in the scent of coffee at all times, are you really practicing law?
No.
I don't know. So
actually, you're probably not successful. Because every law firm I've ever been into smells like either burnt coffee or freshly brewed coffee.
Exactly. It's just like it gives me peace when I walk into a place that smells of brewed coffee. And
that's so true.
Even though I can't have my coffee as much as I would like, decaf is where it's at.
I'm going to go with a decaf or try the half cab.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite city in Georgia for a weekend getaway?
Honestly, I don't do a ton of weekend getaways, but we just got back from Auto Torts and it was down at Sea Island. You missed it because you're on your maternity leave, but I think I'm going to go with that. Anytime anybody gives me an invitation to go to Sea Island, I'm down for a weekend getaway.
So I was so bummed to miss it because I was excited for it to be back at Sea Island. I'd never been there before. And then I'm looking at all the photos, like I see Maggie was there and basically everyone, right?
Right.
Like GTLA conference.
Everybody but you.
Everybody but me. So I'm watching all these Instagram stories. I'm like, I'm going to unfollow all of you until Tuesday. But it looked fantastic.
It was so lovely.
Did you take the family?
I did not.
Oh,
That may be why it was perfect.
That type of perfect.
Yeah, I did not take the family. Was thinking of taking the family. Then something came up with my husband's work. He wasn't going to be able to go. I couldn't take all 3 kids by myself.
Oh, crap.
And my mom was not going to be there, so I couldn't rely on, grandmother to help with childcare. So I went by myself, and it was awesome.
Oh my gosh. So you had a bed to yourself?
Had a bed, had a room. It was so nice. Got to sit by the pool and read a book. I don't know when the last time is that I did that. Who can do that with young children? So
No, you can't. You literally have to escape.
yeah. So
I mean, you get to take a shower without worrying about what's going on in the room outside. That's a big luxury right now.
or a shower without children running into the shower with you,
Yes.
in their full clothes. Like, what are you doing?
Right now, I have a 3-month-old who'll sit in his bouncer and just stare at me like this while I'm in the shower. And I'm like, okay, dude, I'll be out in a second,
Yeah. Waiting.
Uh-huh. Okay, go-to comfort food during trial.
Waffle House. I love Waffle House. And it is my, like, if I need something on the way home and I just know it's not going to get me sick. It's going to like be very easy, chill, quick. A pecan waffle from Waffle House is my go-to comfort food.
Oh, wow.
Kind of weird, but like, it just is.
No, but it's reliable. It's consistent.
It is. And I do not eat Waffle House otherwise. I don't ever eat Waffle House in Atlanta. And I feel like most of our trials are in Middle Georgia, or at least they have been of late. And so there's a Waffle House everywhere, like every half mile
I love that.
in Middle Georgia. And so it's very easy to pick up. I have a number of options on my route home from either Bibb County or Houston County. I can hit several different Waffle Houses.
Okay.
And, get my pecan waffle.
I love that. I have never had what's yours? So I eat like a 3-year-old when I'm in trial.
I obviously do too.
So it's like, it's chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks, pretty much chicken fingers. I don't know why, but I revert back to very simplistic. I don't want to get sick.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be adventurous. If you see me eating sushi during trial, I am literally trying not to show up the next day, right? Like,
for a mistrial.
yeah, right. Like, I'm going to get food poisoning. So yeah, no, it's reliable and bland. Kind of bland, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Crazy.
Yeah, if I have to do something at home, it's like a grilled cheese. So we're on the same page.
Yes, they're like a quesadilla, something quick.
Exactly.
Quick, easy, reliable, carb involved.
Carbon ball, carb necessity.
Okay. One thing in your work bag that you could not live without.
My work bag. I mean, this is a boring answer, but it's going to have to be pens. Like, I'm kind of a pen snob about which pens I like. So I want a real soft touch, and I keep my pens with me that I really like. And now I've got firm pens. As you know, it's important to have things on brand. So I've got firm pens that are my favorite type of pen, and that's my favorite thing. It's like, I like anywhere I go, I want to be using a pen that I like because I tend to write a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Make sure we give her the nice Bird Law Group pens.
I know. Yeah. You got some good pens. I'll test them out for you and let you know whether they're good.
Please do. Please do, because I consider myself a pen snob. So when we were ordering them, I was like, no, it can't be those. No, it can't be those. It needs to feel good in my hand. And they came in. I like them, but we're going to have to see if they get the Lindsey Macon stamp of approval.
I'm down for that challenge.
What was your first job before law school? First job ever.
First job ever. My parents are divorced and remarried. My mom is married to a doctor. And so when I was in high school, I thought maybe I want to be in medicine. And because I love medicine, and that's one of the joys of doing medical malpractice work. But so my first job, I was basically kind of like a tech in his doctor's office, and I would clean the tables, bring the patients back, kind of do the sort of preliminary setup. I got to shadow some in the operating room, but the only real work I was doing was, when I was seeing patients in the office. So we would get that all prepared and sometimes deal with some of the, cut off some splints and remove bloody, gross things after bad injuries. But that was my first real job, which honestly only encouraged me to like medicine more. Although I felt like after doing that, the And what I did not love was being in the operating room. It just was like, you're in there for so long. And I like a little bit more quick change of pace, do a lot of different things. So it sort of introduced me to this idea that I definitely wanted to be tangential to medicine, science. Like, I like studying those issues, but not be in the operating room. And so it sort of kind of helped lead me to where I am.
Oh, that is so interesting. I was like a boring hostess.
I was about to say, what was your P.F. Chang's though?
Yes.
That is a valuable, my sister-in-law was a hostess at P.F. Chang's, and it's like, we would hit that in college so hard.
I still love
P.F. Chang's. And here the best one to go to is in the airport. I will hit that place in the airport.
You get my little escalator and it's right there.
Exactly.
Or you get to the Sky Club.
Yes. Exactly. I love P.F. Chang's.
Been there.
Big fan.
Huge fan. You can have you tried the, do you like the lettuce wraps?
Yeah.
So they have the sauce at the grocery store. You can buy like the bag of Chang's sauce and make your own lettuce wraps.
It's branded.
It's P.F. Chang's. It's very close.
Wow.
Like put some fresh water chestnuts and green onions in there. And like you have to, spice it up a little bit. And then you can make the Chang sauce with the soy sauce and the chili paste and the hot mustard. Mix all that together and put it on there. It's very close.
This is extremely valuable information. I'm very glad I came on this podcast, if only to learn that.
You learned how to make lettuce wraps at home.
Yeah.
To me, I felt better about it because having worked there, I see how they make the lettuce wraps. And they taste really good, but it's not the best parts of the chicken, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why it has so much flavor.
Right.
So, at home, I can make it with like ground chicken breast and I feel better about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Absolutely. So, yes. Justify that.
Hopefully nobody from P.F. Chang's is watching this and I'm getting in trouble with it, but...
Well, I don't know. In some ways, I'm sure they're making a buck on that sauce being sold in the grocery store too.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? So there you go. I'm marketing for you. I'm laughing at this one. Favorite legal movie or TV show?
Legally Blonde.
Hands down, right? Like, there's no other answer.
No other answer.
That was easy.
No further explanation needed.
I've cried watching it before.
It's so good. It is. I don't know how any girl who thinks they might want to grow up and be a lawyer can watch that movie and not think, oh, yeah, like this is absolutely what I'm doing. This is absolutely what I want to be. And when I grow up, Reese Witherspoon, but as Elle Woods.
I know. And when she speaks at graduation, that gets me every time. I don't know why, but like all of it coming together and just having this grand moment that she earned and worked for.
I know.
Right?
She's awesome. What a boss.
I may make my husband watch that tonight. If you weren't a lawyer, I think I know the answer to this. What would you be doing today?
If I weren't a lawyer, gosh, I would probably be my own childcare rather than the childcare that I am relying upon to, allow me to be a lawyer. Which
yes.
Is a very, very serious job that I am grateful that I don't have to do all the time because it allows me when I come home to be fresh and, able to plug into that and not have to be impatient, which is what I probably would be if I were home being my own nanny all the time.
It takes a special personality and patience to do that. It really does. And it really does. Because even I joked with my husband at the end of my maternity leave, there were 3 days that the kids were in daycare before I started back to work, just so I could like get my head on straight. Right. And make sure I had clothes that fit me for that matter. And I was like, I'm a stay-at-home mom with daycare. Okay. Even that was stressful.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't imagine. I love what I do so much. And I'm so grateful for the people who, I guess they're all part of my village now, right? Come and help make sure that I can do that.
Exactly. It is a gift to get to walk out the door and go do a job that I love every single day and come home to my wonderful children, which is another job that I absolutely love. Right. But to be able to do both of those things and the people that allow that to happen are like such a godsend.
My toddler got used to her dad would pick her up when I was home with the baby and bring her home. And because I'd been home, I was able to make dinner and have it ready for her when she got home. So like her little plate was out, her little cup, and everything's all set up on her placemat. She would come home. She'd be like, what do I have for dinner today, Mommy? And it got into this little routine. Well, this week I started back to work and that routine isn't happening, right?
I don't know how people cook dinner.
I don't either.
A job and kids.
Last night it was hodgepodge. Like I'm walking around eating as I'm walking. Like Ryan's having leftovers and Everly is demanding whatever she's demanding for dinner. And I was like,
You've ruined her.
Oh my God, what do I do? How do I backpedal this? I should have never done that, because that's unrealistic. And so I start thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, do I need to just go into work early, leave early, come home before I pick her up, put her dinner out so I don't disappoint her? Like,
Listen, it is.
How do people do it?
The struggle's real. I don't know how. I think about this all the time. It's like, if I could get anything in life that's like unattainable, it would be more time in the day. Like, right. I just don't know. We were talking about exercise before we started recording, and it's like, when can you exercise? When can you sleep? When can you prepare dinner? When can you, I don't know when the last time I set foot in a grocery store is. It's not like I'm wasting time buying groceries. Those are being ordered and delivered. But even just getting the food prepared and put on the table is, I don't know how.
I don't either. And the only way I was able to go to the gym yesterday was I left work early to do it.
Yeah.
So it's either I leave early in the afternoon to do it, or I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the 6 o'clock class or the 5:30 class, whatever it is.
I'm envious of men who are able to like do it during their lunch break and take a shower and come back to work. And it's like, no. If I'm going to get sweaty, there is no coming back from it. Or if I'm coming back from it, I look like a hot mess express.
Yeah.
At work.
You don't want to see or just be near that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for me. No, I got NA yesterday, so no.
Yes.
And I feel it today.
Good for you.
Can't even go down the stairs.
Good for you.
He's making me get back. My husband's my biggest cheerleader, like motivator in this, and I'm very grateful for him. So, if anybody's watching and they're like, oh my God, her husband's making her work out. No, it's not like that. He's like, okay, and we're going to go back on Friday, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it. Can you bring
It's your accountability partner.
Yes.
Everybody needs that.
He brought in the leave to me in bed last night. So he knew.
Yeah.
He's like, take this. We're going to stretch in the morning.
It'll be better.
Yeah.
You can go back Friday.
Yeah.
Here's to the husbands. Look at that.
I mean, man, we talked about our village and like people who care for our kids so we can work. But if I didn't have a supportive partner, could you imagine?
No. I often envision like, what would it be like if I were a single mother trying to do what I'm doing? I don't know. I have such respect for people who are doing it without a partner, because I am completely reliant upon mine to help me
100%
all along the way at every single step.
Yeah. I'm curious about how it's been. You went from 2 to 3 this time, right? You just had your third.
Right.
So we went from 1 to 2. So we went from 2-to-1 coverage to man-to-man coverage. So we're able to like divide and conquer, right? Like Ryan's got our 3.5-year-old and I've got the newborn. What's the change been like going from 2 to 3? How do you handle that?
It's a lot. I think right now, obviously in the newborn phase, the babies require so much attention and just they need you holding them or giving, my baby can't hold his own bottle yet or do any of that stuff. So there's a lot of somebody has to sit and be focused on the baby. And that's certainly a change from having our other two who had gotten to the age where they're, very, I don't want to say they're independent, but they're able to do, things on their own. I think it has helped that the girls are about 1.5 years apart and just under 1.5 years apart, and they're 4 and about to turn 3. And so they're old enough to play with each other and kind of, it still feels a little bit like we're man to man. It's just one of us is man to 2, but they're pretty easy and kind of, they function as a unit.
Your toddler unit.
Exactly. My toddler unit, my baby unit. So it still feels like that. It's just the hardest thing is absolutely figuring out how to be 1 to 3, to have one of us be able to leave the house to go exercise or do something like that and leave the other home with all 3 it's a beast. But
because you're like, it's not like I'm going to party.
Exactly.
I'm trying to go to the gym or heaven forbid head up the Kroger, but I can't do that because I'm going to leave you here all by yourself.
Exactly. That's hard, especially during bedtime. It's like doing the bedtime routine 1 to 3 is, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
So we were just talking about that because my husband's going to be going out of town for his fantasy football draft trip. They do it every year. And he's been in the same fantasy football league for, it's something ridiculous, like over 20 years. So he's been doing it ever since they had to like check the newspaper and calculate the scores on Tuesday or something. Like, it's old, okay? And so I try to have respect for this fantasy football league. And when he left me at home with Everly to do it, that was okay. But now I'm like, okay, so it's going to be me and 2. My best friend's coming to visit, and she's staying with me. That's, because I did all the calculus. I mean, like, think about some crazy cartoon with, like, numbers and math stuff coming out of your head. I'm like, how do I do this? And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know. Do I just hold him while I'm putting her to bed? But what if he starts crying and wakes her up? So that my solution was my friend's coming to help.
Yeah. support. Bring in reinforcement.
That was, I'm phoning a friend.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing I could think of. But I know at some point there is going to come a day where it's going to be, full on 1 to 2 by myself. And
you got this. You'll figure it out. I feel like
feeling
every week it gets a little easier, and I get a little bit more confidence that I can do this. And
yeah. Well, your girls are at a similar age to my oldest, right? We had gotten very spoiled with, they come out of their rooms by themselves. They come downstairs, or Everly's like, I want breakfast, or I'm hungry, or I'd like to drink juice this morning. And you can just sit her out there, she'll eat her breakfast, and then she goes and puts her clothes on.
Right.
That's a level of independence that is unheard of right now with my newborn.
And it'll be a little while before you get there again, but you'll get there.
We'll get there.
It'll be there in a blink of an eye, and it'll be a while. It's like that dichotomy that it always feels like things take. The passage of time is both very slow and so fast, way too fast with kids.
In my maternity leave when, everything was still very new and just I felt like trash and I hurt and he was crying and not sleeping. I'm like, this is never gonna end. And now I'm taking him to daycare and I'm like, it ended.
Yeah.
All at the same time. It's a weird rush of emotions, right?
Yeah, it is the story of parenthood.
I know. Was there anything this time around that caught you by surprise or was different with your third? Or with it being a boy? Because it was girls and this is your first boy, right?
Yeah, first boy. I will, I'm sure there are unmentionables that I won't get into that are different that I had to learn that were new about having a boy.
Like getting peed on every time you change a diaper?
Yeah.
That was new for us too.
Yeah. So that's been a change. But I think, the confidence that comes with parenting as you have more kids or as your kids get a little bit older and you've done it helps because, I'm not an anxious person, but doing what we do, I'm hyper aware of how things can go wrong at like every stage and with that sort of thing. So I can get my anxiety going on just like little things that I imagine. Let me play out the worst case scenario. What is this that's going on? And that can kind of scare me at times. But I think as I've gotten farther into parenthood and now with my third baby, I've learned to relax a little bit about some of the things that are like, you may think that this is really scary. And in reality, like it's going to be fine. The baby's going to learn to sleep. The schedule is going to be fine. You don't need to, in the past, I haven't followed a schedule, but I've always known what the schedule should be and how much the baby should be drinking at each bottle and, all that stuff. And this time I'm like, I have no clue. I have to ask ChatGPT once a month. I'm like, now tell me again, what was that about how often the baby's supposed to be napping and how many ounces are supposed to be in the bottles because I just cannot keep up. But
no, well, I mean, you're keeping up with a million other things too, right?
And it's working, I'm like, and it's fine. He's great. He's growing. He's healthy. He's happy.
I've asked Google AI, hey, my baby's 3 months old. How much did he be eating? I literally did that the other day.
Exactly.
So that's funny that you say that because you let go of something.
Exactly.
Maybe it's just the confidence that I've done it before and she's alive and thriving.
Something's got to give. And I think being obsessed with schedules or like thinking that there's a right way to do stuff and you must follow that way, I think is something that has just gone by the wayside this time. And it's been fine. So
it is actually sort of freeing.
Yeah.
That happens.
Totally.
Do you guys use AI at the firm?
Do use AI a lot. And I think I'm increasingly using it. There used to be I would say before I went on maternity leave even. I mean, it's obviously very recent developments in how people are using it. But I think earlier this year or last year, I would use it kind of one-off here and there. And honestly, I had to put some intention into how can I use AI? I just wouldn't even think of it. And now
it's not the norm for us, or it wasn't, right?
Right, exactly. And now I think I get something that I need to do, or other than a quick email or something like that, any substantive assignment, I'm starting with AI. And I like thinking through brainstorming, that sort of thing. We don't have any of the programs. We're in the process of vetting some of the AI centric, I guess it's maybe case management software, but that pairs with your case management software.
Right.
And the Westlaw AI thing, we're going to trial that. So I don't know, but I've sort of decided that AI is inevitable. And if you are not able to embrace it, we have some people in our office. I would say the majority of folks in our office are would prefer not.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
don't need it, never needed it before, don't need it now.
Exactly. And I am convinced that you're going to get left behind if you don't bite the bullet and learn it, because I just think it's here. And if you're not using it, other lawyers who are not nearly as smart or have the skill sets or the resources that you have are going to get ahead of you, because they're relying upon something that can outperform in some respects a lot of your staff and your mind. So you got to learn to use your mind for what only your mind can do, and the stuff that something else can do, figure out a way to allow that
work smarter, not harder, right? It's a whole new world of that. We got the Lexis AI plugin.
Okay.
And, I forget to use it.
I was about to say, are you using it or you just have other people do that?
It's there. But I forget to use it because I've never had it before.
Yeah.
But when I do use it, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a good starting point for my legal research, right? And it's versus the 20, 30 minutes I would spend before just trying to figure out the best way to search what I was looking for.
I'm literally started this trial today. So I'm so excited because I just finished a brief that I filed last Friday. I'm very familiar with the cases that we cited and all the deposition testimony that's in there. It's a big summary judgment issue. And I'm so excited to get back to my office after I leave here, and I'm going to run it through and I'm going to see, what would it have done if I had asked it to pull the best cases, or what are the best rebuttal arguments to this, or whatever. So I'm like, you got to have something good to test it with rather than trying to trial it with something new, because then you don't know what your work product would have been without it.
That's really smart.
So
I've never thought about doing it.
We'll report back.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And what happens if it comes back and it's like, here is this case that wins the day, right? And you're like, supplemental brief.
I was about to say, my hearing's next Thursday. I got time for a supplemental brief. So
that's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, my husband's been using AI and ChatGPT in his work. And
is he a business person?
Mm-hmm. He runs, he does property investment, real estate management.
Yeah.
A lot of short-term rental management through Airbnb. So he's constantly communicating with Airbnb, with guests, or his staff are communicating with guests, whatever. And so sometimes if he has a difficult message to, he has to tell a tenant, we can't approve your application. Yeah. And it's pretty sensitive, right? He'll ask ChatGPT to help him put it together. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And we just wrote a letter to city council. There's this short-term rental regulation that just got passed. And I say we because I.
Yeah.
But really what I told him to do was he voice texted his ideas. I took that, put it in ChatGPT and said, turn this into a letter for city council against this regulation, and cited it. And it did. And I was like, okay, now make it sound more professional. Okay, now make it come from a host.
I think that is the ticket to
best letter I've ever written.
I know. I'm doing a letter on my husband's behalf as, his lawyer for his business stuff right now too.
Oh, I'm so glad that I'm not the only one.
I know, you get dragged into these things, and it's and then you get fired up and invested. I'm like, we are going to win this.
I went to city council on Monday. I sat there. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch this, and we were at my office that morning. Do you guys have a comb binding machine?
No. What is that?
It's like the comb bind, the plastic teeth that hold papers together.
It binds stuff.
Yeah, but just get it done at Office Depot, okay? Because I had this brilliant idea that we were gonna make these packets for all the council members, city council, and we were gonna comb bind them, and we're gonna do it at my office, and we're gonna do it together. And it was a disaster, okay? But anyway, I go down to city council, we're handing out these packets. I'm like, they better be looking at those.
Yeah.
ChatGPT worked real hard on that letter, and I comb binded those things. I was sweating this morning. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our partners support us. We support them.
Exactly.
Right?
Or ChatGPT does.
Yeah, or ChatGPT does.
Exactly.
What are some you talked about this at a GTLA conference, kind of takeaways from losses and trials and things that you guys have learned. But what are just from wins, from losses, from all the experiences in the courtroom, what are some of your biggest takeaways about the cases that we do, medical malpractice, and do's and don'ts, things that you guys have learned?
I think something that can only come with experience in handling a lot of these cases is that there's no one size fits all model. And, it's when we're preparing a case for trial or strategizing about what is the best possible outcome for our client, how can we protect our client if there's money on the table and we've got lots of defendants and, we're maybe in a mediocre venue or various things like that we've confronted in the past. I think being able to bring a strategic mindset and to consider that background knowledge that we have about prior results and prior cases and solutions that have worked to protect clients in the past and to give them the best chance. I think that is we're able to bring uniquely to cases. And obviously you have the same level of experience, breadth of what your firm has done in the past. I think that's something that those lessons that you learn, your ability to bring that forward and think through kind of creative solutions rather than just thinking, this is a medical malpractice case, therefore I need an expert on standard of care, and this is the order we will do the depositions, and then we will finish the deposition and we will go to mediation, and then we'll finish the mediation and we'll go to trial and we'll put up our evidence. You know, I think that is a good high level understanding, but having done a lot of the cases, sometimes there are reasons you might want to mediate early. There's some reasons that you might want to mediate a case at all.
Right.
And then you may be going to trial and you want to think about, you know, strategically how could you enter into high-low agreement to protect your client from having an empty chair situation, which is, that's something that I've spoken about at GTLA a few times. And it's just,
that's one of the scariest things to me is the empty chair. Because there's nothing we can, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it being empty. There are things you can do to, like you were talking about, help protect your clients from impacting their resolution or their result.
Yeah. And I think people that are new to malpractice work, it's hard to sometimes wrap your head around how sympathetic healthcare providers can be, or can appear to be even when they're not. And so I think having the ability to sort of see it through to the end and know how this is going to play out, how it could play out, and think through, okay, how can I protect my client in light of that, is one of the biggest sort of lessons that I've learned over the course of time, trying cases and resolving them pre-trial.
Well, the one size fits all thing is that resonates, because I was just talking with a co-counsel the other day about how we've seen the same defense counsel over and over again, right? Like, we know who's going to be on the other side of our cases for the most part. And once you've seen a closing from a firm, I feel like you know how they're going to handle a case. Right. Because it's the same stories about circumstantial evidence. It's the same themes. It's sometimes the same PowerPoint.
Right.
And I'm like, how did they get a template for this? And well, somehow I ended up starting over from go for every single case. But I guess it's just the nature of us. Jenna looked at me the other day. She's like, it's because we have the burden.
I was about to say,
you know what? You're right.
As plaintiffs lawyers, we have to be creative and think differently, and not, if we were to follow the template, the defense template's going to work every time. Because again, you know, healthcare providers, generally speaking, people want to have faith in their healthcare system. They want to have faith in the doctors and the nurses that are caring for them. And sometimes that faith, we have to eradicate that by presenting evidence that, hey, you know, this is
that way.
Right, exactly. And so I think that's interesting.
I come from a family of doctors, so I too thought I wanted to go into medicine before law, and ended up finding this like intersection of both things that I love. And it's funny because in the beginning, you know, my family was, they were very skeptical of what I was doing. And then I would come home with stories about, you know, well, what's the most interesting case you're working on? And I think they were expecting me to say something that was just,
trivial.
Anybody could make that mistake. Yeah. That's ridiculous that you're calling that doctor on that. But I would come home and be like, oh yeah, well, this guy left this lady's spinal cord exposed and sewed her back up and sent her on her way. And my uncle was a spinal surgeon. He was like, what?
I know. That's the best part of having doctors in the family, or friends who are married to doctors, or I'm in a book club with a bunch of surgeons right now. They're all finishing their training. And it's so fun to get to kind of talk them through, like, you'll never guess what I saw in an intake today. What do you think about this set of facts? And you're like, what?
I know.
This is crazy.
I feel like I'm constantly focus grouping my cases and trying to win over people who at first glance are like, well, I'm not going to like you because you sue healthcare professionals. I'm like, oh, really? You want to hear? Like, you keep those intakes or those cases, because we all have the cases that'll make anybody's like jaw hit the floor.
Yeah.
And like, how in the hell could that happen?
Yeah.
So look, there are phenomenal doctors, there are phenomenal nurses, healthcare professionals, and by far more good ones than bad ones. But I think what we do is make sure that the ones who don't meet the standard of care are called out for it, right? Or people can get justice for that.
Yeah, it lifts the whole system up, I think, and sort of highlights how good the providers are that are doing a good job when we hold accountable those who are making a bad name for their specialty or their doctor's office or their hospital or, whatever the case may be. I think it just, honestly, when it gets down to it, we are helping that profession more than hurting it. Although, the taste that they may have in their mouth coming into like, hi, I'm Alex. Hi, I'm Lindsey. This is what I do for a living. And they're like, ugh.
I blurted it out. I had a rough go of it with postpartum preeclampsia, and my doctors know what I do. Like, so
I was going to ask you,
I was very honest with them about it. They know. And at some point, like, especially during obstetric care, I feel like I blurted out something that they were going to figure it out anyway.
Right.
You go in there and say, I'm trying to think of, I don't remember the word I said, but I said something and they're like, are you in healthcare? I'm like, kinda. Are we gonna have this conversation right now?
Yeah.
But I blurted it out. I had to go to the ER for my blood pressure, and I blurted it out in the ER. I was like, I was just having word vomit. And I texted my husband. I was like, I need someone here to tell me. Because these people don't know me, and they just need to triage me. And I'm like, I'm a medical malpractice attorney. Your hospital's lawyers were in my office the other day. Ooh, yeah. Should have said that either. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep it on the DL.
You do?
Usually. But if I'm particularly concerned about something and or if I have a particular compliment to give, I had a postpartum nurse at Piedmont this time who was amazing.
So
her assessments of like just feeling my legs, feeling down to my feet, it was like the best nursing care I've had postpartum. And I was like, hey, I just need you to know this is what I do for a living. And I'm aware of kind of what these assessments, what the standard of care should be for these assessments. And you are like this is what nursing should look like postpartum. So I think I'm more transparent about it when I want to give a compliment, because I know the compliment carries some weight when I tell them I've studied this, from a legal perspective, and you're doing a good job.
Right.
But yeah, I keep it on the DL unless I'm particularly nervous about something, and I'll then tell them, hey, just so you know, I'm a little bit nervous about this epidural that you're about to give me. And just this is why that I'm nervous about it. So just
my anxiety makes it all bubble up and it just comes flying out sometimes. And I know I embarrass all of my family members because my parents were like, you are not going to, I'll drop you off or whatever. No. They would rather take an Uber than me walk into the hospital with them or something.
Yeah. Well, but when they need you.
But when they need me, they call. Don't you worry about
Exactly. When they need an advocate, which everybody does.
Everyone, in fact, be your own advocate. Big thing that I say all the time.
Yeah.
And take someone with you, always. And they pulled me out this last time after I had William. I saw my anesthesiologist, and I'd had a real hard time with the anesthesia this time. I was really anxious about it. Yeah. And I was like, hey, you. And they had given me some Versed at this point. And he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? I was like, I can feel my legs again. So you didn't screw it up.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, roll me faster.
Yeah.
I just thought that.
Yeah.
Well, I could sit here and talk about what we do, our families, being moms, the hospital, probably all day, quite frankly. But one thing that I like to do when everybody that comes on the show is ask, is there someone you would like to give the bird to? So we give the bird to someone, something, whatever. Who would you give the bird to? Or what would you give the bird to?
This is funny. I had a conversation with my younger sister who works with me on the way to the podcast recording today. And she said, who are you going to give the bird to?
I love that.
And I said, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about it. Because, we have this set back when tort reform was
we actually canceled it to go down to the Capitol.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I was ready to give the bird. And I'm going to reserve, the feelings that I have about that and the people I'd like to give the bird to. But I'm going to give the bird to my oldest daughter because, listen, this morning, I have a brand new car. Do you have a new car?
Yes.
Okay.
Got it with the new movie, yes.
Yes. I've got a brand new car. It smells so good. I just love it. And I got in my car this morning and it smelled like fish. And I was like, what has happened in my car? I was going to drop my daughter off. So it's like 7:30 in the morning. Oldest daughter's getting in the back seat. And she goes, Mommy, it smells stinky in here because I left an egg yolk in the back of my car in a cup holder. It had been there for 2 days because I had to go to our Macon office yesterday and did not do drop off. And I thought I smelled an egg yesterday, but I was like, I don't know. I eat eggs in the morning.
And you're like, so maybe I just smelled
it didn't smell bad. And then today it is full fish in the backseat of my car. So yeah, I'm giving my 4-year-old the bird today because that's what I'm gonna have to drive around in.
My daughter knows mommy's car is, we don't eat in mommy's car right now. Like, we're not at that point yet, right? Well, we weren't. We are now. It took, all of like 3 weeks to let that lasted. But now when she eats back there, she's like, oh, mommy, I dropped a crumb in your car. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay, baby. It's okay. Yeah. But I'm waiting for the day where she just doesn't tell me and I find like a sucker stuck to the roof or something. Or heaven forbid, an egg yolk. Because my daughter only eats the whites of boiled eggs. So that's exactly what would happen in my car.
She ate a white of a boiled egg and put a yolk in the cup holder and didn't tell me, didn't hand it to me. And she sits in the way back now. She's in the 3rd row, so it's like,
you're not climbing back there to look.
Exactly.
You're not gonna see it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
I love that. That is
a very Thursday or whatever day today is.
Yeah, right. Happy Thursday. Your car now smells like rotten eggs and fish or whatever that might be.
Ugh. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on today. I have very much enjoyed chatting with you. So I knew we have a lot in common, but I feel like I know even more now than we have in common.
I know.
Yeah.
We can do it again anytime. We talk all day.
Yeah, I could seriously sit here and keep talking about the hospital and the baby and then running a law firm. So let's do it all the way around.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and thank you so much for being on. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, listen, post, I don't know, comment if you want. And stay tuned for the next episode of Bird's Eye View. Thanks.